Switzerland was very important for Prince Albert. He loved Switzerland very much, and it was also why Queen Victoria wanted to go where Prince Albert was. It also was a kind of be close to her husband, and it was a trip in memory of her husband. Today we would say she had a kind of a burnout. And so she really couldn't manage all the things she had to do as the first person in the kingdom. And so it was very important to be healthy once again. I start here the exhibition with some important information. Where did she stay? Who was with her? And of course it was very important to check a good place. And this small hotel, the Pension Wallis, is very close to Lucerne, but a little bit on top of the city. It was a good situation also for security. From here, she made her trips every day. She had a steamer for herself. She had 3 children with her, 2 daughters and Prince Edward. And she made her trips to several places. And what did she do? So I show you some things she did, because that's also why this exhibition is so important for us, because Queen Victoria is the most famous tourist who ever was in Lucerne. So it's also an exhibition about the beginning of tourism. And she did really the same things that tourists do today. She went to the Lion Monument, she went to the Kappelbrücke, she went to several places in central Switzerland, like the Tell's Chapel. So she was very interested in Swiss history at this time, and make a lot of notes in her journal.
But it's not only her, it's the whole family, plus people helping, working with her that traveled to Switzerland. Was it covered by journalist, newspaper? Were people aware that she was having her holiday in Switzerland?
The English press was very interested. And so a lot of news went to London, and it's interesting to know what the English press was like today, a boulevard press. So we were on the front papers, what does our Queen do in Switzerland now? And that's not so, it's not used as this in Switzerland, but the English press was very close to the Queen.
Her trip was very important for her because she wanted to grieve, she wanted to feel better after the death of her husband. Did that really work?
Yes, we can recognize this in her journal, because if we read it very exactly, you can read where is the turning point, and it is on the Furka. And here are some objects from the hotel Furka, which doesn't exist anymore. She stayed there 3 nights, and she writes in her journal about one morning when the sun came out, and it was a very, very important impression for her. And she really was healthy afterwards.
So her trip to Switzerland cured her and saved the monarchy almost.
Yes, you can say that. Yeah.
And so you have a lot of small pictures, archive, but her trip to Switzerland was a lot about an intimate moment. So how did you try to sort this out with your scenography?
Yes, we had, as you have seen, a lot of very small objects, and photos were very, very small. So we decided to make some films, some reenactments with an actress at original places, so that people in the exhibition really could go back 150 years.
Do you know how the monarchy feels about this, her trip to Switzerland? What is the relationship between the English crown and Switzerland now?
We sent an invitation to Queen Elizabeth to come to our exhibition. Of course, we knew she won't come, but a member of the family came, Prince Michael of Kent, who is a cousin of Queen Elizabeth, and he was very well informed about this trip to Switzerland. He even made a slideshow when he was here about this with a story. So the family really knows the story of Queen Victoria very well, and also the episode of Switzerland. Of course, Switzerland is still very important for the family.
And so the visit of Queen Victoria in Switzerland had an impact on tourism in Switzerland. Was the country touristy already before she traveled here?
Yeah, of course, tourism starts in the early 19th century in Lucerne, in Switzerland, but it wasn't yet big tourism. But after her visit, the name Victoria was so important that it became like a brand for everything in tourism. So you can see here some photos of hotels Victoria, there are still existing 20 Hotel Victorias in Switzerland. And one of the first is Hotel Victoria in Lucerne, of course. It was built 2 years after her visit here in Lucerne. It also existed a steamer called Victoria, also from 1870. So Victoria really was like a brand for nobilization, for everything in tourism, and is today still very important, I think.
The visit of Queen Victoria in Switzerland left a major mark, not only on the region's life, but also on the city of Lucerne. It caused a major boom on the Swiss tourism industry, and many places were named after her. For instance, the building just behind me used to be the Hotel Victoria and was built just 2 years after her trip. And today, 150 years after her stay here in Switzerland, only the facade carries her name. Eléonore Payro, CNN Money Switzerland, Lucerne.